welcome you to Oakland and Laney College, closing in on kickoff between Oakland Roots on this Saturday evening, hosting the leaders in the Western Conference, the Switchbacks of Colorado Springs. Tonight's game brought to you by Mito Lotto. Mito Lotto is a simple mobile app that lets you safely order lottery tickets right from your phone. Mike Watson, Gary O'Reilly, happy to welcome you in here. Here's a look at the Western Conference as it stands. San Antonio picked up a win earlier tonight. They're now on 21 points. Colorado Springs is chasing. Oakland has dropped 2 spots into 12th, but know this, a win tonight against Colorado Springs. They're on 10 points, and they're in a tie at the playoff line. Gary, I turn to you. This Oakland team is starting to figure things out under Juan Guerin. It's exciting to watch.
It is, because you've got a team that begins to find itself, learns through their lessons that they've been taught over the first 7 or 8 games, and now it's beginning to take shape. But this Colorado team is going to be a big, big test.
Everybody getting in on the act to some extent for Oakland Roots, but at home, no one more so than Ottar Magnus Carlson, the Icelandic international, doing it with his head, doing it at the spot.
He looks like a player that can deliver, and he has with the goals. 4 goals so far this season. He's on loan from Venezia in Italy. His education was from the Ajax Academy, so there's some quality there.
Very impressive. Meanwhile, talk impressive. The Switchbacks slip on the banana peel against Northern Colorado. In the Open Cup, they fall to Vegas. But this team is playing at a different level offensively.
It is. I mean, it's that bounce-back ability, and they're doing it on the back of some serious firepower. Galena is rapid, and it allows Switchbacks to be very direct and very vertical, and his goals have carried them up to the top so far.
Galena went on loan to LAFC last year. The Switchbacks suffered in his absence, but he returns to Colorado Springs this year. We'll get a good long look of the havoc he can wreak here tonight. Wonderful crowd expected as always at Laney. We'll turn the lights on, show you the lineups, and kick this one off when we return in Oakland. It's the Roots and Switchbacks coming up next.
It doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, hey!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
I'm really excited to be a part of EBCE because of all the opportunities it'll offer me to save money.
I was surprised to find out that I could actually have a choice about where my energy comes from.
Thanks to EBCE, our kids are going to have a clean planet to live on when they're older.
I need the power to work in my studio. Of course, I'd love to be able to use more renewable energy.
We now have choices, and I'm happy to choose East Bay Community Energy as my source for local clean power.
First, always. But what does that mean? That means giving the town everything so that the town can give it back. It's a family affair out here, and it's all eyes on we. See you soon, family.
Tonight's telecast of Oakland Roots Soccer is brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross, by User Testing, by Credit Karma, by UCSF Health, and by Coca-Cola. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for this Oakland Roots side here tonight. Starting lineups brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. 2 changes, Morad in the back and Dennis coming in up front.
Dennis will be a major influence here because his supply to Carlson is going to be vital, and it's something the Switchbacks will be looking to shut down. 100% sure of that.
So there's Juan Guerra's starting 11 tonight. Meanwhile, for Colorado Springs, you get the feeling Brendan Burke doesn't really care to change much right now.
Well, he's overloading that right-hand side. Johnson's the winger, and he's playing right back. Galina's up there, so they are going to be express trains down that right-hand side, and that's the problem facing the Roots tonight.
And back into Laney, where tonight we've got a great matchup in store. Kickoff presented by User Testing. Real-time feedback from real customers wherever you work. Visit usertesting.com to learn more. It's Colorado Springs taking on Oakland Roots. Oakland in the green tops for the first time at home this year. Malik Johnson will throw for Colorado Springs. Rolls back to Johnson, who spent time in Tampa Bay at Real Monarchs for that at Toronto FC. Rolled over by Dennis. And the pressure is early and it's stifling from Colorado Springs. Slipped ahead toward Barry.
That's an anywhere clearance. That's what happens at the beginning of the game. You're under the hammer like that, get rid of it. Take a deep breath and rearrange yourself.
You get the feeling these are two coaches that didn't really express interest in changing the way they played for the other, and it portends to a very open match tonight.
I think they know each other quite well, these two coaches, so there'll be a little bit of mind games as to who can outthink the other. This though, is always a difficult position to defend from a free kick in this area, because you're going to look at that penalty spot as a locator, and you're going to get it in between the players and that penalty spot for sure.
Lindley delivers, snap header down. Flag has gone up.
See what I'm saying? Once you get delivery on that kind of angle, players can run across it, attack it, and if you don't get your marking down properly, it's costly.
There's Benny Diaz. Not sure it's a compliment necessarily, but second in the league in saves as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, that sounds great until you understand, you know what, that means you're working a lot harder than most of the other goalkeepers in the league.
Johnson went down hard. Galina seeking the outside, got tossed aside by Barbier.
Barbier's just making sure that Galina knows early on that it's going to be difficult. You know what? That looks like it's going to be painful. I don't think it'll take him out of the game, but it might mean he has to sit out for a minute or two while he gets that strapped if he's had damage to it.
I don't know that there's any amount of adrenaline that's going to make that feel okay.
That's just going to have to take his time to wear off. Most likely when he goes down, he stubs a finger. That's where this is a run for him.
The athletic trainer never came to him, so he stays in, not having to be allowed back by the referee.
About a minute. That's risky from Barbier. Don't allow that ball to bounce in the 18-yard area. You notice how every time a player in green gets the ball, he is smothered in white shirts. That's their press. That's how Coach Burke likes to operate.
Galina. There's Haji Berry. Pretty far away from home. What a season he had last year. Running away in the Golden Boot race early on.
What I like about Barry is it's not just his one trick. He adds with assists, not just taking chances.
Let's take a look at the injury report. It's brought to you by UCSF Health and UCSF Benioff Children's Hospitals. Feka and Fisore remain out for Oakland. Ben Mines is in Cincinnati rehabbing an ankle injury. And Erdman continues to deal with a leg issue. The good news is we don't see Michi Galina as a late add to that. Driven away by Caldwell. Bouncing down, crowd consents it.
It's open.
Oh, Formella. Formella's through. Formella's denied. Formella can't get it by Caldwell.
Yes, he knows. He knows at a glorious opportunity. The ball's a little bit overhit, but the good thing about it being overhit is he runs onto it. What he doesn't do now is just calm himself before he makes the strike. Goalkeeper does brilliantly, Caldwell, comes out big, but he hits the big orange target when the first thing he's got to do is avoid it. It seems so easy to score, doesn't it? But I can tell you it is nowhere near as simple as it looks.
Well, he just experienced the old Scott Sterling right to the face, didn't he, Caldwell? You say it takes a certain level of madman to play that position.
Yeah, I've said that to goalkeepers before and they've been chased half the length of the field. So
True enough.
Kind of after that, after a couple of times of that happening, you tend not to say anything to them. Just keep your thoughts to yourself.
Fuenmayor. Barry will press. It's not the only one. Galina's joining. Eddie Diaz.
Look at what happens. Galina and Barry press, go straight to Johnson, right? Give away possession. You don't have to make the tackle. What you have to do is get in the player's head to stress his technique enough.
All the way back to Caldwell. Joint leader in the league coming into the night.
Just watching Carlson there. When he goes to close down Caldwell, you notice he looks over his shoulder and then you see his numbers, because what he's doing is he's shutting off the pass out to the defender and channeling it and making it predictable. It's clever work from the striker.
Johnson trying to deal with Formella. He's appealing still for a handball. Here's Lindley.
He fell down, man. He fell down.
Work from Nane.
He fell down. No, don't talk back to me. He fell down. You saw what I saw.
Excellent work high up the field to take it away. Recovered by Makangila.
There's a wake-up call for Roots. Do not dwell on the ball. This press is going to give you real problems if you dwell on the ball.
Galina past Barry. And at what point do you change the way you go about things if you're Oakland, whether it's your press not hitting home with the speed that Colorado Springs gets forward, or to an extent, Colorado Springs getting between your center backs and making life impossible?
So now, this becomes a high risk. So the thing is, the goalkeepers can decide to continue playing and exposing yourself to this press and have belief and confidence to play through it, or as that happens, go above it, take it out altogether. If they commit 5 players on a high press, one pass takes them out if it goes long.
Dennis catching Makangila there.
Big responsibility for Makangila. He's got to sit there in front of Mahoney and Oxford to deny Carlson the sort of service he'll be looking to thrive on.
Makangila will sit out in front of that group. So see Lindley available as a pivot as well. Carlson calling more players high up the field. That's hit long. Diaz controls.
If Carlson's there going to press on his own, he'll get bored with that pretty soon. So it's a numbers game. The more like The way the switchbacks do, they hunt together. They don't hunt on their own.
Ball lays through. Galena. Well, the flag's down for now. Barry. Clean play. Still Barry. Haji Barry slicing to the backside. Nobody home. And now, nearly exposed. Johnson steps in. Lindley. Cleared as far as Makingila.
It's a bit frenetic, Mike, isn't it? All right, now it's opened up for Roots. What have they got?
3 options. Advantage was played.
Early yellow.
Dennis is arguing this point, and I can understand why at first glance.
Just takes a stretch at it. There's absolutely no malice in his attempt. But just catches, you can see, just catches that ankle. Ouch. I tell you, there's not a lot of protection around the outside of your ankle.
Dennis's 3rd yellow card this year. As we start to get to the point in the season, Gary, where we're watching for accumulation suspensions.
He's got to be careful, because if he keeps having a word in the referee's ear, yellow can become red very quickly with a second.
Barbier playing centrally through Hernandez. And now Morad. Galena stuck his foot in on Barbier. Asokar. Formella. Formella running down the line, but it's beyond his outstretched right boot.
Space right now looks like it's kind of in behind for Formella to get onto. You know, Johnson's pretty quick, and he likes to push forward. He's a natural winger, just as he is now. So if you can get that quick counter, the space is in behind him for Formella.
Zandy.
Can you see how much space Lindley and Zandy have? Because Roots have sat deep, and they're allowing that space to open up in those areas, rather that space there than behind them.
It's that long diagonal that Barbier will watch out.
So what we'll see now is when Diaz puts this ball down to take the goal kick, whether he decides to play it short around to his defenders, or whether he bypasses anything the switchback bring in terms of a high press.
In theory, we've seen Diaz good with his feet. In this instance, they're going to attempt all the fade. The ball's bouncing around a little too much for Oakland to effectively maintain.
See, the ball goes away from your goal, but invariably it ends up at the feet of the switchback player, in which case it's coming straight back at you.
Barry running the solo mission. Goodness, what a mess.
It's scrappy. It is scrappy, but it's going to take time to settle down because both teams are bringing a high energy level.
I think once we get past that, Juan Guerra sounded really excited. He goes, this isn't your normal USL Championship match. This is a 100% chess match. Formella getting forward. Formella, that's going to deflect off of Johnson.
Well, you can see what I was saying, to get Formella in a foot race with Johnson, get in that spacing behind.
Poor giveaway by Hernandez. It's Barry leading forward off his line. Diaz. Still, there's more for Colorado Springs. Zandy. Lindley. And now Oakland can run.
Now the counter's on. They can get it to go forward rather than backwards. The counter's on. Too much time. Switchbacks have regrouped. But Diaz there, just like at the other end with Caldwell, coming out, being dominant, being big, and blocking an attempt on goal.
Falls kindly. Referee had a look in on Zandy's fall. Scooped up by Diaz. By the way, it is Teacher Appreciation Night here at Laney. The Roosevelt Middle School band played in the concourse in the lead up to the match for about an hour tonight. And the Brewer Middle School is coming later in the year. It's going to deflect all the way back. I can say, as the husband of a special education teacher, I think everyone in the Roots organization in full support of all the teachers here today, and excited to welcome them to a Roots match.
All of the educators need a little bit of respect and love.
Oh, excellent from Colorado Springs to pull away from that multi-car collision. A little bit of room out here to explore. Foster has to go back.
Loose ball. You know, it works both ways. They work hard, Roots, to try and pressurize the opponent on the ball. Trouble is that pressure is on the edge of their own 18-yard area.
It's a little more open. A lot of players running face to goal. Chance to get it across. Carlson again. What a denial by Caldwell. Carlson has been on a goal-scoring tear at home and nearly got one with his feet. The elusive run-of-play goal with his feet. Instead, doesn't get lucky number 5 on home field.
Best move of the game so far, Mike, without a doubt. And Carlson doesn't need me to tell him that he should have scored. You know, classic situation there is you cut back across the goalkeeper going back the way he. Great passing behind, lovely first-time cross. If he can just go steer that into the right-hand corner, I don't think Caldwell has a chance of stopping it. But credit the goalkeeper, read the situation and once again dominated.
Yellow card comes out here to Flenmayor. It's the second yellow issued both to Roots players.
Find the tempo again. Touch and a half until you're in the final third.
Now, what was wrong with that? Apart from a long comes straight through the player, does get the ball, however, just completely clatters through the back of him. Got to be mindful now. You know, he's going to be under a lot of pressure as one of those 3 defensive players in the Roots back line. Now he's walking on a yellow card. Just be careful with any challenges that he thinks could be a little bit rash going forward.
Oakland seems to like that far side, although it's been slowed for now.
Yeah, they're able to get down their right-hand side, but only so far. We've only had that one chance just now for Carlson, which was born fruit from that right wing.
Foster at the back of Rito.
Yeah, that's a good one.
this corner kick, powered by East Bay Community Energy. East Bay Community Energy, providing green power at low rates. Visit ebce.org to find out more. Early ball across, bouncing all the way through. And coming off the set piece, they had Mahoney forward. It was Hodge who hit that ball across, and Colorado Springs has struggled to defend set pieces. They've been the aggressor on these today.
Watch number 5 there. He's got his eyes shut. Otherwise, he'd have seen that ball onto his head. Oh, that was gilt-edged. Free header like that. Well, you know what, Mike? We've had chances at both ends. Just haven't had anyone take them yet. But it's open.
Down with their finger for 5 minutes. No, come on, man.
Bouncing all the way through. Here comes Oakland at full speed. Billowing down, ball across Carlson. Clipped away by the Switchbacks. It's going to be a corner. And Carlson in this Oakland attack is intent on the opener. And Malik Johnson covered a lot of ground to get back.
Good move from Rito. Another good cross in. You know what? Without Johnson getting a toe on that ball, I think Carlson does convert that chance. So it's great defending, because he's got to come in off that right fullback side to read the danger and stop it in its tracks.
You're starting to get the feeling that there isn't really an answer to Carlson at this stage when Oakland gets running. Really struggled to mark him. Makangila is going to get a quick mouthful from the referee.
See, the referee's talked to him now. If he does it again, what's the referee got to do?
Give him his 4th card of the year. Service to the near post, got through the legs of Morad, and out for a goal kick.
Whether it's just a little bit tight in that corner, but I would have expected from a player like Dennis with his quality to be able to deliver a better corner than that.
Yes.
That's a lucky bounce for Colorado Springs. Galina's making this long run forward. He nearly got Azokar to bite. Instead, Azokar going stride for stride. Galina around the outside, tipped out by Barbier.
This is what you're seeing with Galina. He's looking to get a player one-on-one with Greengrass in behind, and then you're playing to his assets. He's going to burn you off with his speed. He's either going to come straight in toward Diaz's goal, or he's going to set up a teammate. And that's the big problem. If they push too high routes, they open up space for him.
Played half of a half. It's been busy. This is going to bounce out. This is going to be an Oakland goal kick. Oakland Roots second kits have arrived. Both kits now available. Pay homage to Oakland culture. Purchase yours by visiting shop.oaklandrootssc.com. I don't mind these kits at all.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Although Juan Guerra is always impeccably dressed. When you become the head man, all that time at Phoenix, and you largely toe the line. You let the big man carry the load. Rick Shant's always a suited man down in the desert for Phoenix Rising. It's a contemporary, clean, classy look. Foster, offside.
I didn't know I was here to analyze sartorial elegance. So you're not a fan of jeans and tees?
I've got no problem with this.
All right.
I'm all about it.
All right.
Don't turn this on me.
I'm just asking you a question. Don't get defensive.
You know, it was fun talking to Juan. I hadn't had the chance to speak to him since he had taken this job here in Oakland right before the new year. And we talked a little bit about where the team was at this stage. And at one point, he stops the entire conversation and said, Mike, I want to win.
Yeah.
I am competitive.
And he said, and I'm really happy.
Yeah.
And when you hear someone prepared to pin themselves to that statement, so here's the space again. Azakar, can he get behind Johnson?
We'll do it by putting the ball on the deck. Dennis.
So Dennis has made the switch across to the left. So maybe this now is a little wrinkle where he's brought in just to see if he can off-balance the Switchbacks defense in any way.
Pays an immediate dividend, and Dennis stands over the ball now. Came up through Southampton, through League One. The ball across. We're gonna get another corner. This corner kick powered by East Bay Community Energy. East Bay Community Energy providing green power at low rates. Visit ebce.org to find out more. Dennis. Morad sent it back out. Dennis trying to get by Johnson. And here's the danger off the set piece. Good step by Nane. And now in behind, Juan Carlos Azócar. Over the penalty spot, Carlson was a bit too far advanced.
Great vision and execution from Dennis. To put Azócar in behind, just completely decimates that Switchbacks defense. Now, you said he came out of Southampton. We talked about Carlson and his education at the Ajax Academy. The Southampton Academy is the academy that produced players like Gareth Bale, right? Theo Walcott, all gone on to be top internationals, had top careers. He'll have got a very good education. He'll have spent years in the Southampton Academy.
By the way, you were watching Carlson. The first thing that came out of your mouth while you were watching him, what, keep it up for a minute and a half?
In the warm-up, he just had that ball on a string. Both feet, knees, shoulders, chest, head, back down, back up, back down, back up. It was a routine. It was sick. It was absolutely sick. He was just, I'm thinking, that's not a stretch for you. He wasn't having to run 3 yards to try and do it. He just stood in one place and kept it up. The balance, the core strength, everything. Very impressed with that young man. Just need him to score goals to keep me happy.
But to be fair, you look at me and go, Carlson, you know where he came up, Ajax.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it was watching that reminded you of that fact.
Totally.
Yeah.
He would have been expected to have that skill set, that ability to caress and use a football correctly. It's all the other things you learn at Ajax that makes it impressive.
Foster will roll that up. Benny Diaz.
And if any of our viewers watching don't know about the Ajax Academy, just go on the internet and have a look, and you'll see the sort of players they've been trotting out for decades.
In theory, if Project 510 goes the way Oakland dreams of, if you look at what the Philadelphia Union did, largely on the back of current Colorado Springs head coach Brendan Burke. He was that link for the outstanding Union players that have all made the leap over to Europe. Mark McKenzie, Brendan Aronson is turned over to Oakland. Azócar with the diagonal. Oh, he overcooked that. Burrito's still there. Trying to lay back for Dennis. Another look. Dennis with a deflection. Got out in front of Azócar.
Roots, they're bringing their own press and making it profitable almost.
Have you seen any significant adjustment by Oakland other than simply possessing the ball more authoritatively?
Not quite.
Boy, that was the curse personified,
Yeah.
huh?
That's living on the edge.
Johnson steps in.
What I am noticing is just open up, reaching the half-hour mark, and this has opened up. Space is now beginning to appear as players are just tiring a little bit from having such exertion in the first 30 minutes.
Turn over to Carlson, who leaned it back. Rito's making that regular run down the right side. It's Formella on the left. Formella's going to get a second bite of the apple. Teed that up. Reaching through Hernandez. Referee looks in. He points. Penalty. And it's Oakland who can get it done at the spot just past the half-hour mark.
All right, get a replay of this. Just how much contact is on the Roots player. Because there's a lot of bodies and legs in there. It's been a good piece of pressure there from Oakland. Like Formella's little push inside once it comes. So now, watch this. Yeah, absolutely. Akangila. Referee didn't hesitate, did he? All right. Ice cold from the Icelander.
According to Transfer Market, Carlson in his professional career, 7 takes, 7 makes from the penalty spot. He's scored 2 at home for Oakland this year to make it 5 goals at home. And another penalty. Carlson's denied. He went right down the middle, and he is stopped by Caldwell.
Not a good penalty. He's not. Credit to the goalkeeper, because he saved it. But, you know, that's not pushed towards either of the uprights. It's not in the top corner. It's rather disappointing, given that we know that he's a goal scorer.
Jojo! It's gonna come, Jojo!
You got to wonder at some point mentally how that affects Carlson. He puts one right off Caldwell's face in the run of play. Now a penalty that doesn't go his way. Is there a position in sport that really depends on confidence more than that of a striker?
Yep.
Oh, Galena's very much onside. He's got support for Barry. And Oakland's done that and a little bit more to take it back.
Great play. Great play to thwart that attack.
Comes in waves, and that ball across is not it back to Diaz.
I think Babir there just reads it, sees it. Going back to that penalty kick. Simple phrase, forget about him. That's the only thing you can do and move on.
Caldwell last year stopped 5 penalties for Hartford. Bouncing ball ahead, just off the mark for Formella. Let's take a look at the penalty. This is the 7th career penalty save on 16 tries for Caldwell.
It's that little stutter step in the middle seems to actually put Carlson off himself rather than the goalkeeper. Got to wash it out of his memory, get on with what's ahead of him.
Meanwhile, Caldwell must be overflowing with confidence. If this Colorado Springs side makes a run toward the playoffs, penalties certainly will not scare them.
The other thing is, look at the goals they've conceded. 6. Yeah. You know, I know you defend from the front, it's a team effort all the way back to the goalkeeper. But if he's in that kind of form, then you can see why they've conceded so few goals.
Well, Jeff Caldwell for a while was competing for the #2 job at New England with Matt Turner.
Yeah, fair enough.
So you're an unlucky #3 for a while, and then you find out Matt Turner is headed to Arsenal. That's a foul conceded here by the Roots. And a free kick in a fairly dangerous position for Colorado Springs.
And he knows that that's a cheap foul to give away, but he just wonders now if it's going to be costly.
Well, it's Nane, the captain, who will successfully evade any additional punishment. Then you wonder just how much Lindley fancies from here. It's a really difficult angle.
I don't think he'd be looking to go direct. I think what he'd be looking for is to get runs across the face of Diaz's goal, around the penalty spot, 6-yard box. See how high the Roots line is.
And that's effectively kept in by Dennis at the end line.
Watch it, Danny! Well played, boys! Danny! Sí, Rita, sí! Well done! Get up!
Foster. That deflection's gonna fall really nicely for Johnson. That's worth 3 points, but no goals.
Hey, see what you did. I just thought Johnson there with his first touch allows the defender to come across and shut that angle down. If he'd have maybe dribbled that in, chopped inside, maybe the picture would have changed and been different for him.
Brendan Burke looks on, year number 2 running this project. Guerra, 35 years old. Brendan Burke's only 39. He was running the Bethlehem Steel in the Union organization out in the Eastern Conference for a number of years before arriving in Colorado Springs.
That's a sizable cast on Mahoney's arm there. He's had that checked. Catch a player with that, and it's solid rock. It's going to hurt.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. From a player perspective, you got to think Mahoney probably has to have some level of soft cast for that.
Actually, so.
Crowd loud here, trying to give Oakland a little boost here on the set piece. First header's away, and Foster clears the lines.
Open! Watch as you go! Yes, one more!
I got to tell you, these two organizations, Colorado Springs just opened a brand new downtown venue, Widener Field, a couple of years ago. They played outside of downtown for a number of years, selling out that venue regularly. They've got a watch party tonight, Jack Quinn's Irish Pub in the Springs. But Oakland coming into this league, 2021 was a massive year for Western Conference sellouts. A lot of packed venues. San Diego getting a full season in the championship with packed stadiums for the first time. Caldwell off his line.
Well, you say that. The Chief Revenue Officer here at the Roots, Steve Powell, works really, really hard. I know him very well. And actually, his good lady wife, April's her birthday today, so we're going to wish her a happy birthday and lots of cake. All right? But he works super hard to ensure this club has the financial footing to take itself forward. And both organisations seem like they're superbly run.
A lot of credit for this Roots side taking the step up. The run they went on at the tail end of last year to finish 4th in the Pacific Division, springing some kind of upset at the time, top-notch El Paso group. Bouncing through Lindley. Lindley's going to keep chasing. Barry a bit unlucky because he didn't realize Morad wasn't going to keep his feet.
No, it's got a little bit scrappy again. That's what I got.
Hey, Roots fans, Roots' next home game comes on Saturday, May 21st, 7 p.m. at Laney Field against LA Galaxy 2. A select number of tickets are available. Call 510-488-1144. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/tickets for more information.
Thought about the shot, didn't he, Azukar? He thought better.
Rito lost it. Thought he had won it back, and he had tossed Foster in the process.
That's not going to get you anything with a yellow card, is it?
Well, he may have evaded the yellow card. I'm not sure Rito didn't just work his way right into it. throwing that ball back, and the referee blowing his whistle about 11 more times.
He's having a good old argument with Hodge there. He gets himself caught up, can't get the better of Hodge, and then I don't think he pulls Hodge down, which is why he's so aggravated, but can't allow himself to get into that state with the referee. Happy with that high-risk policy of dribbling out Roots. Got to be mindful they don't create a problem for themselves.
Referee's going to show yellow now. He has, they did brandish it.
Back in the pocket.
I was wondering there for a moment if that was a warning shot from the referee. Alas, he has given the yellow card to Cam Lindley.
Just a little hand on the shoulder. You've seen them given and you've seen them not, but I'm sure about a yellow card for that.
Michael Radchuk is our venerable referee tonight.
Never heard of referee called venerable. I'll go with it.
Ranging over.
Oakford did well there because Formella, he just puts his hips into Formella and rolls him out the way. Normally it's the striker that does that. There's one off the ball there. Barry's been done. He's been just looked like he got shoulder charged off the ball.
Hernandez went down. Now the referee gives the foul. There's more after the fact. And suddenly the referee's got a card out.
Everybody's going down.
Barry is going and asking about the previous play at midfield that ultimately saw him barrel roll out of it.
Well, he can't be that badly off, can he? Because he just sprinted 50 yards to complain to the referee.
Hernandez is still down, and these are the moments Michael Radchuk likely looks to Justin Fillmore and Babukar Jallo, along with his fourth, Michael Zapata, to try and help him adjudicate all this. There is no VAR in the championship, oftentimes to its benefit. In this particular instance, that Michael Radchuk wishes he could have another look.
Barry did, there was a collision off the ball. Now, intentional or not, I don't know. But there was a coming together, that much I could see. As this move develops, yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem to be anything but just someone bumping into each other. That didn't seem to be that bad either.
That was Makangila.
Meanwhile, Hernandez hasn't, oh, he has moved. No one's come on to see him.
I'm waiting to find out who that card went to. You would think at first Makangila. Good to see Hernandez back up and about. Former Los Dos player. Get a chance to take on his former club when they make that visit to town in about 3 weeks' time.
You know, I think Dennis is going to fancy his chances with this from this angle, with his left foot.
Can you blame him?
Yeah. A little bit far out, but even still, I think if he's got belief in his strength.
Second ball.
You can hear Juan Guerra shouting out about the second ball should this come off the wall.
So he wants follow-ups. So if the goalkeeper doesn't catch it or rebounds it, he wants players plural, follow up.
It was Makangila who got the yellow card for the previous, well, challenges. It appeared he was involved in a pair. Anything unclean here from Jeff Caldwell. Could be knocked in on the 6. Will it be Dennis having a go at this? You bet it is. Ooh. Oh, it's off target from Dennis. It's marginally off target at that.
but look how much Caldwell's moved across his goal. He's not certain that that's going wide. He's had to scramble. Knows where he wants to put it. He's got the technical ability to do it, and he's not that far away, is he? Not that far at all.
Wow. You see the young kid in the background
Nearly
with his
swallowed
jaw
it.
on the floor?
Nearly swallowed it.
That was a foul. Shoulder to shoulder, right? On Beverly?
Into first half stoppage time, of which 2 added minutes.
Mike, can you confirm the last yellow? Okay. Said 16.
Oh, Formella, he is gone. Formella leading the charge. Green shirts parachuting in. Oh, it just continues, and the ball across.
They need an end product. Can't have all this build-up and no end product.
And Galena won't get any further. More odds there. When it comes off like that, it really is a beautiful game, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Short-armed a little bit. Ball just touched ahead to Barry. Lindley.
That's overcooked.
The run wasn't there.
Aguilar's not that. Aguilar's not that quick, is he? You see the spaces that have opened up in the last 10, 15 minutes as players just really have struggled to keep up the tempo that we saw in the opening half hour or so.
I think halftime is going to be a welcome whistle for both these sides. Scoreline says 0-0. The action on the field would indicate we've had quite the eventful half.
Totally agree with you.
Caldwell the save on Carlson's penalty, and somehow after all that back and forth, scoreless.
Yeah, Carlson could have had 2 goals. We could have had 3 for Roots. And goalkeeping at the other end from Diaz has really kept the game at a 0-0.
And we're headed to halftime. We'll give you a look around the USL Championship with some news and notes and plenty more. Roots fans coming out in support. Oakland trying to give them a goal. Halftime is brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem, transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. It's coming up next.
It doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, party!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
So what if Jenny has a new car that plugs in like a vacuum? You have you. Yeah, you. You create your own karma. You, who endured this to save on rent. You, who upcycled your prom suit for your first job interview and still nailed it. You, who went the extra mile to earn extra cash. Now you have Credit Karma, the money app where your hard work can pay off with a new credit card, a new home, or even a new car. And wait till Jenny sees this. Whoa there. Create your own karma with Credit Karma.
try it first.
It says Julie is waiting with my order. I'm just gonna go in.
We've got to work on the tracking. Oh, good luck.
Take the entire journey with your customer with user testing.
So, was the baguette fresh?
It was spicy.
And the ghost pepper rev?
Empty.
Keep ingredients separate? Here.
Get a taste of your customer's world with user testing.
Halftime is brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. Oakland hosting Colorado Springs on this fine evening in California. Mike Watts, Gary O'Reilly with you. Let's take a look at what's going on around the USL Championship at present. Some news and notes. Louisville City atop the Eastern Conference. Still unbeaten after tonight's result. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Mackie Jobe making the move from Birmingham up to Detroit City, who picked up a win of their own against New York Red Bulls 2 today. Now about eFootball. You can play with Oakland Roots or Colorado Springs now on PlayStation, Xbox, or Windows with Konami's eFootball. How about some scores from around the league? Some of these are shockers.
Whoa.
San Antonio 6, Monterey Bay 0. Monterey Bay cannot wait to open their venue, if only to end this horrific road trip. Sacramento level with Las Vegas. That game currently at halftime. Detroit picked up a win. Louisville City over Pittsburgh. Through 8 games, no two teams had ever played one another with as many points as Louisville and Pittsburgh entered the night with. Louisville takes the entire batch. Harris and Musha Galusa, the former SKC players, with the wins. And then Loyal over Rowdies, huge East-West game, with the winner in that one coming in the 88th from Evan Conway. Here's what's coming up on ESPN Networks. We called it unfinished business last year, but let's be frank. Phoenix didn't get a chance to finish the business anyways. Tampa Bay also didn't finish the business against Orange County. They match up on ESPN2. It is at the new stadium out in Phoenix. Orange County and New Mexico get the spotlight on ESPN Deportes to open up June. Monterey Bay at home against that San Antonio side that just thoroughly whomped them 6-0. And then on ESPN2, Detroit City and El Paso. That's going to be a very early kickoff out here in the Pacific time zone. Meanwhile, we're going to play late into the night here at Laney. Halftime brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Anthem is transforming healthcare by improving the health of our local communities. Scoreless at the intermission.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
It says Julie is waiting with my order.
I'm just gonna go in.
We've got to work on the tracking. Oh, good luck.
Take the entire journey with your customer with user testing.
So, was the baguette fresh?
It was spicy.
And the ghost pepper rev?
Empty.
Keep ingredients separate? Here.
Get a taste of your customer's world with user testing.
We welcome you back to halftime, brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross. Oakland and Colorado Springs scoreless at the break, which is a massive understatement of just how entertaining this match has been. Mike and Gary back with you. Why don't we take a look at first half highlights, of which there are many. Why don't we just start in the 6th minute of play? Oakland getting after it.
Yeah, they are, and they could have put themselves a marker down very, very early here for Mella. Caldwell does exceptionally well at the near post, just shuts the whole thing down.
Ahead to the 17th minute, why not more Oakland? When Mayor getting it forward, Rito, and that hurts as a goal scorer.
That does. Given the form he's been in, you would have expected that to be signed, sealed, and delivered, but once again, Caldwell to the rescue.
Ahead to the 30th minute of play, it just continues. Down goes Hernandez. Is that penalty to you?
Yep. All day long penalty, and you can see how happy the players are, and you fancy the Iceman to deliver.
And no, first time he's missed as a pro, and talking about 40% save rate for Caldwell as a goalkeeper on those.
Yeah, does exceptionally well. That little stutter stride seemed to put Carlson off more than anything else. This was a real sighter, wasn't it, from Dennis, and it's not too far away. Caldwell scrambling across, and from this angle you can see why that is no more than a whisker away.
So we're level at the break. Look at halftime stats brought to you by Puma, and stats are pretty even, but I'd argue Oakland's been the better team.
They have. They've taken the game to Switchbacks, although Switchbacks' high pressure, particularly in the opening half hour, was brutal. And you know what? Roots just said, no, we'll play through. We'll believe in ourselves and play through. And they have done, and things have opened up, and they look the more likely to get a goal. Having said that, you're never more in danger than when you've got the ball, because teams go and counter-attack on you very, very quickly.
Deep Roots over there taking in the halftime entertainment. Plenty of second half entertainment coming up.
So what if Jenny has a new car that plugs in like a vacuum? You have you. Yeah, you. You create your own karma. You, who endured this to save on rent. You, who upcycled your prom suit for your first job interview and still nailed it. You, who went the extra mile to earn extra cash. Now you have Credit Karma, the money app where your hard work can pay off with a new credit card, a new home, or even a new car. And wait till Jenny sees this. Whoa there. Create your own karma with Credit Karma.
It doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, party!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
I'm really excited to be a part of EBCE because of all the opportunities it'll offer me to save money.
I was surprised to find out that I could actually have a choice about where my energy comes from.
Thanks to EBCE, our kids are going to have a clean planet to live on when they're older.
I need the power to work in my studio. Of course, I'd love to be able to use more renewable energy.
We now have choices, and I'm happy to choose East Bay Community Energy as my source for local clean power.
Tonight's telecast of Oakland Roots Soccer is brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross, by User Testing, by Credit Karma, by UCSF Health, and by Coca-Cola. Let's give you a player to watch in the second half of play. How can you not? Carlson, it's drawn the eye all game. It just hasn't gone everything but.
Yeah, and he's got to step up. He's got to wash that out of his memory, come back and analyze it, but at another time. He's got another half of football to play, and if they carry on like they did, they'll create more opportunities, and he's got to step up, be ruthless, and put his team in the game.
He's found his way into the attack in a number of ways. In the first half, Oakland expected goals 1.5, Colorado Springs 0.25. Most of that has come from Otar Carlson. So, okay, there's the good. Hopefully a little confidence coming out of the halftime break.
Yeah, he's a striker that's been in good form, so he should have a strength of belief in him, for sure.
He is more expected goals than the other 21 players on the field combined. Can he break through in the second half of play here in Oakland? As we approach the second half of play, let's give you a couple of insights from that first half. The Switchbacks have stopped their opposition from scoring in the first half for the 6th time in 8 games, most of any team in the USL Championship. And conversely, here's an interesting one. Michael Radchuk gave his 5th penalty this year in 3 games.
So it's his fault.
Most of any referee in the championship.
So what are you trying to say?
I'm saying
he's easy to influence?
I'm saying on average he's due for 1 more.
Oh.
Azakar making his way back out of the field. Why don't we tell you the upcoming schedule for Oakland as this second half approaches and let you know what's coming down the pipe. It's funny, Juan Garrett wouldn't really admit to the fact that he's looking game by game, but very few coaches can actually tell you where they're going the next few weeks. And yet he did. At Orange County, at Las Vegas, and then they get home for that glorious home stretch at the end of May, start of June.
You know why? Especially the find it with some coaches that because they're managing their players in terms of I got to rest this player here, otherwise I'm going to burn him out for a couple of games later on. They have a 6-game program where they understand the games and understand the personnel that they will have available to them over the course of those 6 games. So some coaches, if they operate on that level in that regime, are acutely aware of which games are coming up.
Switchbacks will get the first touch of this second half and underway once more here at Laney College.
I expect the beginning 10 minutes of this half to be as frenetic as the first.
The neutral can hope so.
Yes. Which is us, I believe.
In theory. Going to skip out of play. Both the 11s are unchanged entering the second half of play. What if I told you Colorado Springs, we have a statistical service that provides expected goals for us, and it's some people's cup of tea, and for some it's not.
Yeah.
What if I told you their expected goals is minus 0.01 to start the half and actually dropped? I can't really explain that. Got questions?
Is that like Bitcoin?
Well, that drops by a lot more than 0.01, I've noticed. That's Foster involved. We were intrigued to see what we'd get out of the young player. Isaiah Foster, 18 years old from Maryland. If you listen to Brendan Burke, it sounds like he thinks there's a European or Major League Soccer future for him.
If Coach Burke trusts him enough to put him in the starting lineup at 18 years of age, I can assure you he's shown an awful lot in training.
Rito nearly.
I thought he was going to tap it outside or run round the inside, because after that, once he gets around the fullback, there's acreage. So Hodge down there, just what the whole thing with the shirt is there, but there we go.
We had one of the players, I believe it was Hernandez pregame, who was wearing a different colored green under his jersey, and apparently the shirt was out a little bit, so he takes off. They've got the catapult
everything
on them,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
The GPS trackers that we see so often.
Yeah, so many players, so many clubs, so many leagues allow those to be used now.
So you've got to strip off like 11 layers, including all that science, and then put it all back on.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, that data capture is essential for coaches, and the players become acutely aware of it once they see it and realize how it can be used for their benefit.
What's been your experience with trying to dig into that data? Have you been able to find what coaches are looking for, or how that build up over time can?
There's certain things that, I mean, okay, there's certain metrics that you use, i.e. distance you ran. Then you can get to the point where, what was the fastest you ran at for how much time you did that. Then what becomes interesting is, if you say a box-to-box midfield player, how often you make that run at your top speed and how soon it is after you make the next one, because that's then a judgment of your recovery and ability to recover. I can go on and on and on, but with people are watching the game.
This is a podcast, some would argue, the science of sport.
Yeah.
It has a name, right?
Yeah, Star Talk Sports Edition with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Is anyone else on that podcast?
Chuck Nice, an actor and stand-up comedian. But we have a whole lot of other guests on. It's fun. It's fun because I produce it.
True enough. That's Lindley for Colorado Springs. A little bounce. Rod sent it away.
All right, let's see how far Roots defense push up here, or whether they sit deep. Because if they sit deep, that's under instruction. They're pretty deep, aren't they?
Looked like they tried, and it really didn't play out. Hernandez got a foot in, and Dennis will take it a few steps further. But there's Galena.
A lot of niggly little things going on around the pitch where players are coming down like this. And as much as you don't want to see a player hurt, what it's doing is it's stopping the flow and the rhythm of the game. And it can be a little bit frustrating.
Let's try and get another look here at what happened to Foster. It was Dennis he was trying to strip the ball from.
So it looks as if he's got his feet caught in the surface there, and then just twist them up.
Athletic trainer working on that right leg right now, and you can see the radio contact back to the sideline. Didn't give the universal signal for substitute yet. Let's ask you this question. You got the feeling Juan Guerra was kind of hoping that Colorado Springs would play the way they play up in the mountains when they come to Oakland. Have you found that they have? Do you think we've largely seen this play out the way Juan Guerra hoped that it would?
I think it has, because, I mean, they've shown great bravery. Oh, here we got a chance now. Has it? No, just pulled it too far. They've shown bravery in playing out of that high press that the Switchbacks bring.
Absolutely.
And the Switchbacks will bring that to you. And with their confidence high, because you know what? All we do is win, 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 more or less. So they don't mind where they are. They'll play their way. So, you know, that strength can, I'm not saying it is, can become a weakness, because you become predictable to play to your strength. If that makes any sense. A little handoff there.
Nane was a little extended. Carlson played it ahead.
Yes,
now cross Retail. Oh! Caldwell covered a mile to get back to that. He's at a different level from a different planet.
He's an orange monster. Absolute monster. He's shaking his head. He can't believe it. It's a little handoff there. Great play. What I love here is the unselfish pass that's going to come up here from Dennis. Look, he knows there's an open goal. Do you know what happens here? Rito puts it back into the oncoming Caldwell. Don't take anything away from Caldwell, because he is just absolutely on it tonight.
Meanwhile, Colorado Springs fielding an entire technical staff is a minor miracle right now. We'll get to that in a moment. Ball across, we'll skip all the way out. Okay, I believe pretty much the entire technical staff got sent off from the, was it Tulsa game? Maybe the game prior?
Did they?
Nonetheless, I believe Stephen Hogan is still away from the team. He actually did his coaching licenses with Juan Guerra, believe it or not. But it's been a little bit of a mishmash of coaching right now for Colorado Springs. Brendan Burke said it was the first time in 12 years as a head coach he had ever been sent off from a game.
So how does the whole coaching staff get sent out of a game?
I quite frankly, I'm still trying to understand it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, James Chambers, it appears, we've been told, was just shown a yellow on the previous Nane high hand. Apparently was a little too vocal to the referee. The coaches in Colorado Springs are working on a yellow card accumulation suspension as well.
This is a new level of punishment. But then again, it just shows you know what? We don't tolerate this behavior from players on the field. We're not going to tolerate it in the technical areas from the staff.
But what happened tonight in El Paso? Apparently even inanimate objects can pick up cards, correct?
Well, in the Loudon El Paso game, the ball went out for a throw-in. The referee walked up to the El Paso dugout and brandished a red card, and then the coach left. And I'm still like, what happened?
But you did see the coach leave.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a very animate object.
And he took his clipboard with him.
Whatever ideas he had, he'll save it for next week. Well, 2 weeks. Ball lifted over. That's scooped up by Diaz. Ball over the top. Sprung back Oakland. Forward again. Hernandez, that first ball. In goes Foster. Hernandez kept it.
Good little triangles from Roots.
And now through Asokar. Flex down, race for it. Still the Roots have it. That deflects back.
If the camera could pan back, you'd see just how deep Roots' defense is and how separated they are from their deepest lying midfield player. That's a lot of real estate to be vacant.
Am I off base for suggesting all that space is essentially a commitment by Oakland that they will not be beat over the top?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's a point where you're respectful and fearful of a player like Galena and his pace to do you on a counter.
Barry for Foster. Cutback ball, that's cleared away. It was between a pair of switchbacks. Still, it's alive for Colorado Springs. Galena reaching the end line, good slide in, and that'll get the crowd excited here in Oakland. Makingila threaded that through brilliantly, and now Colorado Springs has the opener. It's Zach Zandy.
Just look at this. This is a simply threaded pass. Got to be better at your marking. It's Morad there who must know Zandy is just waiting on his shoulder. Beautiful pick out by Makangila, and the rest was simple finish. Very calm, very simple finish. Gave Diaz no chance.
I think back to the Open Cup game against Northern Colorado. Brendan Bergside had 25 chances, scored none of them, and got ousted. Then you think about a game like tonight. It's this punch-for-punch deal. Oakland looks like they're getting the best of it. Watch out, Barry's coming. And it just takes one mistake, Rito trying to get in behind. And Colorado Springs jumps on top here. Rito pushes forward again. Hernandez holding Dennis. He's found the backside. Look at all this space. Dodge and duck. And watched over the line by Juan Carlos Azocar.
Going back to the goal, Mike, if you're marking around the edge of your own 18-yard area, it isn't touch tight, things like this are going to happen. And it just shows you work ever so hard as a unit to keep the score out almost an hour, and then a little bit of drop in concentration and it all falls apart.
Colorado Springs has struggled on set pieces. Morad was trying to get that flick on. Another effort coming for Oakland.
But it's another corner that comes into the near post low. You'd be looking, this is going to be an outswinger with Dennis's left boot. But it's, you know, you've got to get it beyond the near post. He's not moved 10 yards, Ref, come on.
There's a line. That ball across got pinged backward. That's a heavy shot to the head. Rito brought that down expertly. Outside Formella. Header across! And Carlson leaning downward, couldn't get the finishing touch.
Did he head this for Carlson to finish, or did he head it for goal?
Sadly,
or did he get caught between the two decisions?
Indeed.
A little knockout blow there. The side of the head. Look, kept the pressure up, kept the pressure. Lovely little ball in from Formella. Ah, do you know what he does? He doesn't time the rotation of his head quick enough. Look, and he just heads it straight back. If he gets a little bit of twist on that, that could be goal bound. And he's shaking his head. He knows he could have done a bit better. How many opportunities are they going to get?
Mayor that time around. How many times is Caldwell gonna come up with a ace up his sleeve? Meanwhile, Galena, who dealt with that early hand injury, and you look at his left hand, he's got that.
Yeah, it's got a strapping on it. What they've done is they've maybe assessed it to have some damage, and to keep it in a good place, they'll have taped two fingers together. Standard issue.
And it appears he's taking a
He's
a
the guy,
shot.
he was the player who took the ball flush in the face.
Well, he's going to be off for a moment, and Caldwell sent that long.
Okay, Roots have got to show some character now, you know? They've had a lot of opportunities to take the scoring forward. They haven't done so, and they've gone a goal behind. So they're going to dig deep as a group, bring themselves forward. Takes a bit of character and leadership out there on the field. On the other side of the coin, Switchbacks, how do they manage this? They've got a history of winning games, so they'll be able to manage this whole thing from a leading position, or you would expect them to.
They've won all 4 their home matches to start the year, rather road matches, Colorado Springs. That's not a bad bit of skill, is it?
Take that.
You do get the sense the crowd has certainly gotten their money's worth. They're just waiting for that Roots goal to really cement the whole night.
Yeah, I think if Roots get a goal here, they'll really get excited, because they've been in a good place so far this evening, fans.
It's the Switchbacks who have the goal through Zandy in the 56th. Eduardo Rito. Dennis. Hernandez.
Oh, that's
bouncing to the backside. Cut back ball. Plenty of contact. Referee waves it onward.
Let that ball travel a long way to Azocar on the far post.
It was Ockford who had that contact in front of the goal mouth. I told you the referee had a penchant for penalty giving, and in that instance,
No, you respect me.
kept the whistle down. Who would have thunk?
Saw what I saw on the goal. Saw what I saw on the goal.
Rito's making that run to the right. Patient from Formella. Moore has been a regular down the left. It's caught by Caldwell, a bit awkwardly at that.
Slinging a cross in like that, and it's coming in towards the far post. Caldwell should be favourite all the time. See here from this angle, look, just going to curl in towards Caldwell. It's well and truly over Carlson.
Closer! Watch it, Tadek!
Soars into this half, and the throw coming for Oakland. Nane. Kneeling outside, Fuenmayor.
What I am seeing is that Colorado Springs has gone a little bit more direct with their passing. You know, they're not going through midfield as much as they did in the first half, and they're bypassing a lot to try and get directly in behind that Roots back line.
Foster. Oh, it can happen this fast for Colorado Springs. But Golina, he's testing the metal of the net. Ultimately wishing he had done that with the ball instead of his hands after the fact.
This is just so quick. What a wonderful ball in from Foster. Just loose from Golina.
That might be one too many from Hodge. Referee's thrown his arms aside, said no more. They're Hodge or Mahoney there. Fuenmayor. Rito.
It's good pressure from the Switchbacks, forcing that all the way back to Diaz, and then pushing it long, getting possession themselves.
Keep playing! Benny, yeah!
Morad. And now Diaz. It's interestingly now Zandy the one leading that group. Way by Ockford. That's going to be a free kick. Going to get out another throw even further up the line here for Oakland. Formella. Bounced up on Carlson. Pressure's a little more sustained now from Oakland.
Yeah, they're trying to build a wave of pressure and keep it there. I just wonder with Carlson, he stayed very much on point in the central area. Hasn't really come looking for it in the wide areas.
Nice little opening. Oh, what a ball for Rito. He settles. Dennis had to get it wide again. Rito.
Now it can go in.
Ball lobbed across. The header steered aside. Galena won't get there. Switch. Hodge looking for Foster. Good step, Lindley, and somehow through Barry. Run wasn't there.
Frustrating because that needed just a delicate touch. Didn't happen.
Lightning stuff from Asokar. Goodness, he can bomb forward, and Rito as well. Nane through space. Dennis, he got lopped off the ball.
He was trying to get it sized up on his left foot, wasn't he? Get that.
Galena finishing. Flip celebration. Goals up on the road in Oakland.
Just movement ahead of him, Lynch. And when he's balancing, and
meanwhile, you can see Morad immediately trying to get this group.
Becomes a much more difficult task. Push yourself forward.
Providing green power at low rates. Visit tonight for Foster. Themselves a chance down the stretch. From trailing positions, it is a foul. It's really lucky that apparently
Formella's not convinced it's outside. Good work.
Isn't it?
There you go. Just,
you would think
you're in the middle of the heat of a game, you're not quite aware of exactly where to get your marking discipline right.
We've got Dennis on one side of the ball. This is going to be swung toward goal, and it's punched away. And struck out the first time. Appeal for a handball from Hernandez. They're going to say it's a corner. It was not a handball.
Well, that's Caldwell punching that away, one fist.
And now the ensuing service headed out of play. And then we get back to what happened on the previous effort, huh?
Just been disappointed. We're with the Roots corners.
Chuy Enriquez comes on here for Dennis. So Chuy off the bench. Let's take a look at what happened here on this set piece.
Good punch from Caldwell. This comes flying back in.
Didn't get
inconclusive.
Didn't get Makingila, it appeared.
No.
Inconclusive. So had that been given, it would be in the dubious penalty department?
Possibly.
Colorado Springs at this point would likely salt it away. Zandy in the 56th, Galena in the 70th. It's Galena's 4th goal and 6th goal contribution this year.
Oof, how close was that to being intercepted?
That ball somehow sneaked through. Wouldn't there for Enriquez. Ball ahead. Roll back Lindley. Free kick.
On the arm there.
I can't help but think, and ultimately it's Colorado Springs who, as they have much of this year, capitalized on the opportunities, and they may have a chance to do it again. Dodge through midfield, rolled over by Zandy, but Oakland 2 clear-cut chances in that first half, and it's not about going back to identify a specific player, but there are inflection points in a game that most definitely adjust how the remaining, call it 70 minutes or 50 minutes at whatever time these moments occurred. And Oakland watched pretty much every inflection point of this game go against them.
Yeah, and it takes character to keep coming back and going again. But what then really pulls the rug from underneath you is when your opponent goes up the other end and they're more efficient at it than you. They take the lead, as the Switchbacks have this evening.
By the way, for Haji Berry, who last year was right there at the Golden Boot, that's his 4th assist back in the 70th minute. That leads the USL Championship. He has now contributed to a goal in 5 consecutive road games.
Not a bad return, is it?
No. I think there's been a lot of questions. What is Haji Berry still doing here? That is offside regardless, as Formella pushing that line. Hey, about we tell you, Roots fans, you can get your 5-game mini plan starting at just $90, or a Fam 4-pack available starting at $80 for 4 tickets and 4 drinks. Call 510-488-1144 or visit oaklandrootssc.com/tickets for more information. You can join what Jordan Farrell, the technical director last year, as the interim head coach, referred to as like the best block party in Oakland. Nights out at Laney. And for a lot of this night, it felt like we were on pace for it in Colorado Springs, as they so often do. They're proving to be among the best in the league at it. Even when it starts to go punch for punch, they seem to take all the air out of the building when they come down and viciously finish, as Zandy did, and eventually Galena as well. Might be a little trouble brewing. That's a really clever ball away, and Barry couldn't do any more with it.
No, just to make sure when it's dropping over your shoulder like that, you do make the connection you need.
Makingila won it. And wide open down the middle of the field. Galena's going to carry it away. Maybe he didn't see Elvis Amo out there. Maybe he thought there were a few too many. And Barbier.
I think he'd had enough of Galena. just said, no, I'm bored with this. I'm going to just...
Before Barbier ended up around Manchester City and West Brom's academies, he was actually in Philly And it was Brendan Burke, the coach for Colorado Springs, that initially started working with him in that academy system for the Union. Sparbiru comes off now, and we'll see Johnny Rodriguez come on in his stead for the final 10 minutes, trying to make an impact here that could maybe turn the tide. If you're Lindley, well, if you're Lindley, I guess the first problem is Malik Johnson is on the ground. So I guess that's the first focus. The athletic trainers come to look at that, and then we'll ponder what lies ahead for Cameron Lindley's upcoming service.
Well, be hoping for more than ammo in the 18-yard area as a target. We saw the universal sign for a sub.
Johnson started all 8 games, but where he starts, you and I were sitting here pondering what that could look like. You've got a lot of scratch outs on your sheet.
Yeah, it's he's adaptable, isn't he? You can play him as a right winger, you can play him as a right back, you can play him in a further forward position, and he's adaptable and comfortable in all of them.
You can see another number bombing forward. Morad got that away. A little surprised they sent Mahoney, all the while Zandy blasting off. Barry, and here come the Roots. Rolled ahead, Enriquez. Outside Rito. And a foul. It's going to be a couple changes coming here. We're going to see Zach Zandy come off having scored in the 56th minute, and Carlton Belmar on his 6th appearance, all off the bench. And then good to see Issa Ryan getting back into the mix a little bit here, dealing with some early season injuries for Colorado Springs. He'll replace Malik Johnson, who had gone down with that injury a moment earlier.
Fresh legs to keep the intensity up the latter stages.
Ball lifted over for Barry. Flag down. Referee gesturing that hit the hand of Barry maybe, or got over the end line.
Let's go, come on.
Has that gotten over? If I had told you
all the way down.
as this gets lobbed over the top, what a play by Mahoney. There's contact after the fact. Referee saying that's a handball. Now the referee is headed over to the sideline. Someone got a yellow. Is that a Oakland reserve?
So what has the referee heard from that? So what has the referee heard, or has the fourth official told the referee? I don't know. mysteries.
Really good, Enriquez, to find Nane, who lifts that forward. You can hear Juan Guerra calling out to the Roots players, keep focus here. Rito going back, Diaz right down the middle, and Usher back to Hodge. You know, I gotta tell you, I think we might have set a league record tonight. I'll get to that in a moment. Check that. For a second there, I thought we had a player who'd yet to appear in the championship earning a yellow card. Not yet, not yet. We may have a chance to see Mikkel Janssen in this game, the Norwegian player, also on loan from Venezia. Like Carlson, who just arrived this week, available for the first time. They're dealing with visa issues and a delay getting into Oakland. Time is running out for that, and Oakland is still pushing to try and get a goal here. Belmar shoved down by Rito.
That's just... I don't get that. I don't get that foul at all.
Is this a continuation of the dream start here for Switchbacks? Couldn't ask for much better than they've given at the start of the year. Taken every available point on the road thus far, and they have a chance here to cash in Oakland. The Roots get back into it. Hernandez dips that down on the far side. Head on a swivel, ball across for Carlson. There's Caldwell, the arch nemesis of Carlson and this Oakland attack tonight.
Formella puts this in on the outside of his right boot, desperately trying to arrow it in to find Carlson, but it's that man in orange again. I mean, none of it, is he? Look, see him, he's just ready to pounce.
Lindley sent it forward. And Enriquez got away from him. Nane, there's been a little room out here. They've exfoliated a couple times where Ryan had come in on the right. Fuenmayor.
So many of the moves for Oakland have just got so far and then just fizzled out.
Well, you can see the energy of this Oakland team is really on point. Ball escapes. It looked like a ball kid just threw a ball to a Colorado Springs player that fooled him into it. And Oakland, after running over to take the corner, flicked that second ball out altogether. Can you get one before a stoppage here Enriquez. We'll get another look. Oakland had a chance coming into the night to move into a tie for 6th. Ball across again. This will fall kindly, rolling all the way, Caldwell once more. Johnny Rodriguez sent a roller to the post. Into stoppage time. 5 added minutes. Enriquez again. First ball's away. Rito. Flag is down. Enriquez got closer, bounced it at Caldwell.
So much hard work, and then you just pop it into an area like that with a bad cross. Just takes a couple of deflections on the way in, doesn't it? But he won't be beaten tonight, will he? Caldwell, determined.
Mentioned coming in, joint leader in the league in clean sheets. No reason to think that's going to change. He was level with Jordan Farr, the San Antonio goalkeeper. He did his part, and the offense did too for San Antonio tonight. They annihilate Monterey Bay 6-0.
Shipping goals, aren't they?
Oh.
El Paso put 5 past them.
Echevarria's come in. And you feel for an expansion team, and they can only look at a team like Oakland last year and go, well, you can band together mid-season, start to strap a couple of wins together, get some home results. Maybe you can make a run here. Right now, it's not looking so hot. Looking a lot more like Hartford when they came into the league in the East. 8 road games waiting for their stadium to get finished. They played 8 playoff teams, went 0-8.
Surprisingly enough.
That's a very much unnecessary self-inflicted wound, an offside call. Going to fall here for Enriquez, and now Carlson.
They've kept him pretty quiet, haven't they? Switchbacks this evening, Carlson. I mean, his chances earlier on in the game, in the first half in particular, he looked a confident striker, and then it just seemed to ebb away. And I think you look at players like Matangila, who've screened in front of the 2 central defenders as one of the reasons why he's not been able to get the service he wants.
Well, there's been no quit, and fans tonight haven't gotten what they're looking for. Again, it feels like the signs are there. This is the Colorado Springs side that will, again, move to joint leader in the West if they can hold on another 100 ticks. Amo. Echevarria. He'll run onto that. He'll send that well out of play.
He's hurried into his shot. He's got defenders either side of him. Can't keep it down. Unforced error again for Oakland. It could be another one.
Belmar chasing. This is going to fall real kindly. And that is that. It's Haji Berry putting the exclamation point down for Colorado Springs. And in the 4th minute of stoppage time, the Switchbacks lead 3-0.
All night they've been brave, playing out, pushing the ball through the high press that the Switchbacks have brought. And then right at the end where you're tired and your concentration levels are down, you make a silly error like this. And when it's Berry and the form that he's shown as a goal scorer, no surprise that's in the back of the net.
And put another way, there have been a few passes like that tonight that it felt like Oakland lived a little bit dangerously, and Haji Berry finally put them to the sword for it.
I think when you play that sort of game, you are playing a high percentage of it going wrong. You know, it takes, as I say, I've said all night, it takes so much bravery.
Colorado Springs goes on the road, move back to the top of the Western Conference with San Antonio with a 3-0 win against Oakland. For Oakland, their surge to add another victory and get back toward the playoff line comes up short on their home field, and Caldwell with a worthy clean sheet celebration with the entire team.
Yep, I mean, he's the pillar that this result's been built on, for sure. When you think about some of the saves he made earlier in the game that allowed to keep his team in it and then build on their lead, then build and build and build. Yeah, no wonder he's getting the congrats from his teammates.
Well, Caldwell definitely a man of the match for Colorado Springs, but for Oakland tonight, the Roots man of the match is presented by Ale Industries. The 2022 Town Beer Collab is now available in select stores and on tap at Ale Industries. You chose this.
His work goes mainly unnoticed because he's not a flair player, not a big goal scorer, but I tell you what, he covered every blade of grass, works hard, his distribution levels are very strong, and he just kept going and going and going and going, and he was trying to build and build and build for his team, and it impressed me a lot.
Let's take a look at the save of the game. It's brought to you by Credit Karma. That was a big early moment against Zandy.
Yeah, he's come out and dominated the whole thing here, Benny Diaz. Player thinks he's got the chance to score, taken away from him by the big blue goalkeeper.
But it's the big orange monster who proves most impressive on the night. Diaz unable to hold the 0. Difficult night. Colorado Springs a 3-0 win. We'll wrap it up on the other side as the Roots fall short tonight at Laney.
It doesn't matter how hard you play, practice, or compete, as long as you do it together.
1, 2, 3, party!
That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Oakland Roots teamed up and took on food insecurity, improved physical and mental health through coaching clinics and mental health panels, and spoke out for social justice. We're committed to continuing our work to improve the lives and health of our community together. Visit oaklandrootssc.com/anthem.
I need to try it first.
Welcome you back to Oakland. The Roots come up short, and Colorado Springs definitely show their teeth on the road. Road games don't seem to scare these Switchbacks. Another victory, and 3-0. They knock off the Roots to move back to the top of the West. Mike Watson, Gary O'Reilly to wrap this one up as we get you caught up on the game that was. Highlights are brought to you by UCSF Health. And this is where Oakland let themselves down. Carlson had a few chances. They just didn't go tonight.
Yep, it's that point where I think the game just buckled for Oakland on that first penalty miss from Carlson. He just became a dominant force, didn't he, Caldwell, in everything that the Roots were trying to bring forward.
And then it was the self-inflicted wounds by the Roots that amassed 2, if not all 3 goals.
Yeah, Zandy's allowed way too much space. He's unmarked on the edge of the box. Nice little neat turn, beautiful little simple finish.
You can see the celebration over on the Switchback sideline. That was in the 56th. Opportunities continue to rain down. Rito able to bring this through, and ultimately Formella, the header. Again, no man's land.
Yep, it's an in-between, trying to head it down for Carlson and head it goal bound to beat Caldwell, and doesn't achieve either.
And then the switchbacks in the 70th, Barry to Galena.
Just draws in the defender, doesn't he, Barbier, then steps round him, and he's not going to miss from there. He's been in good form goal scoring this season, so no surprise, he takes another one with him.
And into stoppage time. Opportunity for Oakland to try and get one back, maybe make something in the 5 minutes.
Yeah, he wasn't having it, was he, Caldwell? He would not be beaten all game.
And in the 4th minute stoppage time, the finishing touch.
Yeah, this came with a bow on it, didn't it? Just you can't give the ball away in your own 18-yard area like that and expect someone like Barry not to finish.
And that silences the over 5,300 who packed the building tonight. Full-time stats brought to you by Puma. Quick look at this tells you what, Gary?
Both had the same amount of shots. One is walking out of here with 3 goals. It's efficiency and ruthlessness in front of goal on the night that makes Switchbacks what they are, one of the leading teams in the Western Conference.
They've held a clean sheet, the Switchbacks, in 4 of the 8 games in the league. And they've scored all 8 times. Out-of-town scores brought to you by Visit Oakland. Get out on the town and visit Oakland to explore arts, culture, and world-class cuisine. Here's what it means. San Antonio stays level atop the Western Conference on points with Colorado Springs. Both gaudy results. San Diego, big win for the West. Louisville goes top of the East tonight. Orange County, a huge victory near the playoff line, and Vegas might again steal some points off of a Sacramento side that looks so good. That is currently in stoppage time on ESPN+. Well, we found out just why Colorado Springs has been so difficult to take down when they go on the road. It is a worthy show worth buying a ticket for, and the Roots with their chances. But ultimately, when you come for the crown, you have to make sure you take out the king. Switchbacks 3, Roots 0. For Gary O'Reilly, our entire Vista team, Mike Watts, so long from Laney.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.